I'm here with a good friend, Brett Riley.
Hello.
Who is also a rapper. I've been to 2 of your shows now.
Yeah.
I've had a great
the
time.
The first and the most recent.
Yeah. So, tell me about the kind of progression that you've experienced between the 2, because I remember going to your first one, and it was like a little showcase, and like the amount of people there was
dismal.
It was kind of dismal, and then the second one there was a lot of differences. So. What would you say changed between those 2?
Well, so I thought it was really cool that you got to see this one, having only ever really seen that first one, because that first one, from my perspective now, was bad. Like, but you have to get on stage. You have to get on stage, and you have to deal with those nerves, and you have to like just get that experience and have a few bad shows because you need to be able to be comfortable. And I think that's what you saw at Nectar Lounge. I was just like really comfortable up there. I was also really tired, so I was just trying to like do it all, but I think it's like I've seen constant improvement in, I think that was my 5th live show, 4th live show, something like that. But yeah, every time I've seen more audience response, I've felt better about it by myself, and my own friends have been more responsive, because like there's a difference between when you come off stage and you say, "How'd I do?" and they say, "Good," versus when you come off stage and they're there and they say, "That was really good."
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And
that's
so
one thing
happens.
I noticed too. At your second show, you're just way more comfortable on stage.
Yeah. I think it
it's
it
like
just
ripping the Band-Aid off, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's especially just once I get up there, like once I hear. Like, I tried to organize my set list to get myself hyped, essentially. Like, it's also obviously to get the audience hyped. But as long as I can get myself into the songs, I'm there, and then I lose myself in that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even necessarily, like, really right there with everyone. I try to still interact with people and but, I really just try to become one with it, because if I am not, I can easily just like start getting very nervous. Very nervous.
Do you have like a pre-show ritual or anything that you do? Like athletes, they punch on mental, eat Skittles before a game or something.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to think I do. Especially nowadays, I usually like all the venues I perform at have a bar. So like 2 hours before I go on, I usually just grab a drink. It helps me loosen up a little bit, and just relax, stop thinking about what's going on 2 hours from now, because I can't do anything about it until I'm there, and that's the worst feeling. It's like, I just want to go on and kill it, or do whatever I'm going to do, But, shoot, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? What was I talking about?
You have drinks
before your show.
Oh, yeah. I usually just listen. I'm usually listening to my set for a few, like I'll listen to it a few times through and wrap it through as I walk around, because I have so much time most of the time, like 4 hours. I get to the venue 4 hours before or something, because I have to check in. But I usually just try to talk to the other artists, gain a connection with them, and listen to their music if they're comfortable sharing, and just try to connect with them, because especially in those shows, there's a lot of disconnect. It's not like the artists know each other. It's not like they're even really related that well, because like earlier on, before you even showed up, there was like a jazz band at that show. But they were tight. That was the thing, is they were really good.
Yeah, that's sick.
But I tried to talk to the group that was going up after me, so
and
really introduce
the Hebrews,
them.
Right?
Yeah. So they had performed with me at other shows that I'd been, and they've been getting better as well each show, and so I was like, I want to actually bring you guys up instead of just like walking off stage and then you guys come up. Like I wanted to be like, hey, these are really talented dudes. You should pay attention.
And they were sick.
Yeah, they were tight. They were very tight. They have really good beats, and the group dynamic is nice.
Yeah, kind of like an unknown Migos.
Oh,
like
totally.
3 rappers there. It's like these 3 rappers that kind of bounce off each other.
Yeah. But yeah, my pre-show ritual is usually just to try to stop thinking about, or just to release the tension, the fact that I can't do anything about it until I'm right there. I just have to bide my time.
So tell me about your songs. Like what would you kind of say, first of all, your type of rap is, and what do you talk about in your songs? Because you have a particular message.
Yeah. I mean, there are a few songs that exist where I succumb to the braggadocious style, the slappers and things like that. But mainly, I would say that I try to spread the love of like peace, love, and positivity, and just try to, all of my songs are like from my heart. So it's really just like if you're feeling what I'm feeling, then you'll feel that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you don't, that's also okay. Like so much of me making music has to be me realizing that music itself is not for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And then my own music is not going to be for everyone. But I would say I try to make music from the heart, That would be how I would describe my music. Like when I sit down, I don't really even have a plan necessarily. I hear a beat and I try to think about what it evokes in me and what it is calling for to be brought out of it, essentially.
Yeah.
When a beat sounds sad, you don't want to be talking about happy shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Talking about all this other stuff, you want to match that tone, and so, yeah.
Yeah, and I noticed that in some of your songs you talk a lot about kind of personal stuff, like really, really personal stuff, and like you get deep down and very reflective in them.
Yeah.
What do you think is kind of your inspiration for that? Do you just kind of listen to the beat and whatever comes to you, or do you have other sources kind of that
It's kind of been, so I'm an English/creative writing major here at SU, and I've always used writing itself to get what is in here out, because I can't understand it when it's in here. It's crazy, it's wild, it's all over the place, it's 1,000 different things. But when I hear it, or when I see it, I can understand it so much more. So that's why I try to dig deep into my own problems or conflicts or whatever, because I can't understand it when I'm just thinking about it as well as I can when I write it down and try to express it, and then I'm like, why do I believe these certain things? Like, why would I say it this way, or why would I describe it this way, and so in certain songs, like in my most recent song, Changes, I wanted to make that one very personal because I felt like that was what was going to make a connection to other people, and that's what seemed to be true, because when that song came out, a lot of my friends came to me and said, like, I can feel what you're saying, like, I literally can empathize.
That's a great song.
Can empathize.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Your friend Max Schleibach made the beat, right? And it's on Spotify, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yeah.
Very cool.
Goes find Brett Riley on Spotify.
It's all
follow
streaming
him.
platforms.
Add changes to your playlists.
Yeah.
Cue it up.
It was really, really cool to make music with him because
He's
of
your
how
best friend,
I mean, he's
Yeah.
my best friend,
Super close.
and because that's a whole other aspect of our relationship, that like even if you're best friends with someone, making music with someone is a very vulnerable position. You have to be willing to mess up, you have to be willing to sound bad and look bad, and you have to just be willing to sit there for hours essentially.
Get rid of the ego thing.
Yeah, you really have to let go of your ego. You really
Do you do that a lot with him? You guys just, like,
Since then we've been making it a regular thing, but that was the beginning of it. Was we came together and I was like, I want to bring my passions into the people, like I want to share my passions with the people I love,
Yeah, of course.
I want to do the thing I love with the people I love, because I've always been doing it alone. And while that has been fruitful sometimes, it is very helpful to get other opinions on your music while it's being created. Like, you need that. And so to have Max there and to tell me, hey, try this, or that doesn't sound as good as I think you can, or like, and and even just changing stuff as we go, all that stuff like made that song what it is, and made that song, in my opinion, one of my best songs, if not my best song, because I had another opinion and I was able to be like, oh, if I was hearing this myself, I would be like, yeah, sure, it's fine. But he was like, I think you can do better. I think you can do better. And so I sat down to write those verses and really was like,
So it just gives you really
this
good
is
criticism.
gonna be like, I really have to, I gotta be good with the pen, like I gotta make it worthwhile. I don't want to waste any bars essentially saying nothing.
Yeah. So who was producing your songs before Max? Were you producing most of them, or did you have somebody else producing them?
A majority of everything I have out now is SoundCloud producers that I've just kind of downloaded the beats from. I predominantly use this guy Chuki Beats. He's most of my.
Check him out.
Shout out Chuki Beats.
Shout out to
I've never been in contact with him. He never knows. I don't even know.
Connect you to imagine.
But that was most of my mixtape and stuff. but yeah, that was like I realized very quickly that was determining my sound, obviously, and then I was like, oh,
I was living in
I
you.
wanna I wanna know what Brett Riley sounds like over Brett Riley beats,
Yeah.
essentially over where I'm in control of every sound that these people are hearing. So I've been making beats now for the past like month and a half,
That's
and
awesome.
it's been so much fun. It's been so much fun. Like it's incredible to just like have the power of like the boom at your fingertips and stuff. Because you know, like you can make people move, and like that is the biggest thing to me. It's like making people move with these sounds that I'm creating. It's like amazing to
You gotta find the balance.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I think
And
that
I was
like
making beats before I came here.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
I woke up this morning and I finished one that I've been working on because it needed like one more element and I couldn't think of what it was. I found it. I found it and I was like, yes! So I'll probably write a song to
So
that.
what? Did you just like buy yourself a keyboard and like put an 808 over it?
I have a little MIDI.
Okay.
One of those USB 1 full octave, I think.
Nice.
C to C. And but I've been using FL Studio more recently, and so I don't even need the MIDI when I use that because you can just like place notes and stuff for like melodies. You can literally just like click in.
Yeah.
And so then it's like, I took this music theory course last quarter here, and learned basic chords and things like that, and that I'd never been traditionally musically trained at all.
Yeah.
Like I've never taken anything about this, so I mean I almost failed that class, shouts out. But,
music theory.
but it helps me learn these chords and things that I can implement. Like I've been implementing a lot of the things I've been learning, and right now I'm taking an audio recording and production class.
That's sick.
That
That's
like
really cool.
gets me in the recording studio on campus and gets me access to that afterwards and stuff. So I was like, so yeah, I've been
That's
trying
nice.
to make beats, and I've been trying to, direct my sound more because I didn't have control of that so much in the past.
I think that like production is a really large part of rap songs. Like when I listen to a rap song, like half of what I'm paying attention to, and what I pay attention to, I argue like the most, especially when I first listen, is how I think the beat is, like the production of the song.
Yeah. Totally agreed.
I'm way more interested in that than I am in like the bars sometimes,
Yeah.
just because I think that that's like so important. And so I think it's cool that you're starting to take more control over that, because I feel like it's gonna make your art feels way more genuine.
Oh, totally.
If you have that control over that, so that's tight.
I mean, sometimes you can tell like whether or not you're gonna like a song in the first two measures.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Like,
Basically, you're like,
the first
oh,
few
I don't really
seconds,
mess
I
with that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
fuck with
bounce
this.
with that like drum pattern. I don't really mess with that melody. Too high pitch, too low pitch.
It's wild.
I've made entire beats like that where once I finished it, I listen, I like show it to someone, or I listen to it again myself, and I'm just like,
Yeah, you just gotta throw it out the
I'm
window.
just like, oh. Like by the end of the first verse, I'm tired of hearing wah,
Yeah.
wah,
Yeah.
wah, wah.
Some of them stick, some of them you gotta get rid of.
And but no, I totally agree with you that in the rap game, as it is so called nowadays, well, always,
Production's important.
that production is everything. And for who I am as a person, where I focus so much on my lyrics, I obviously have a little bit of disdain for that, but I enjoy amazing beats, and I enjoy great production, and I also hope that what's happening these past 2 years, that producers are getting more credit. Producers are really blowing up. People know who Metro Boomin are.
Yeah,
People
DJ
know who
Esco.
London on a Track
Yeah.
is. People know who DJ Esco is. Because I mean, DJ Esco,
He's wild.
he literally makes Future songs.
Yeah,
Future
all of
doesn't write
Future's
those
DJ
songs
Esco.
in that order. He has the bars, and then he goes in the recording studio and records all that stuff, and Esco orders it in the way he thinks it sounds best. And then Future learns the songs like that. Like, he doesn't even order his songs like that. And so, that plays into the whole having other people around in your music. It's like, you by yourself may not know what would sound best.
Well, and you gotta understand how like all the different aspects of it work.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? So like if you don't know how beats work and you're trying to rap,
Yeah.
that's not gonna help you at all.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing I've learned very recently is fresh ears is a huge part of everything that I do, mixing and mastering and recording and everything. It's like, I have to know when to step back and come back later with fresh ears, because something can sound horrible after I've listened to it for 3 hours, you know, or I'm like, oh my gosh, is this even a song anymore?
Yeah.
Like, is this even
You're just spiraling,
Yeah,
You're
I'm
like,
like,
oh,
oh,
this is
side
garbage. I have to get rid of it.
like, so I usually just put the headphones down, you know, walk around a little bit, come back to it, and, you know, things sound better, I can level stuff better. Yeah, it's been so much fun, you know, 7 hours can disappear when I sit down and actually find something that I, like, start to, like, really just, like, ooh, yes, just sit there and bounce, and, like, and then it's, like, 9 p.m. and I haven't eaten dinner, and I'm like, oh.
Started your homework, you're like, oh no.
I'm just like, oh man, like, where am I?
Tight.
That's funny. So, you mentioned your favorite rapper is Isaiah Rashad.
Wow.
I did tell you that.
Tell
I
me
love
about
this
that.
man.
Why?
I think.
What about him?
I just, every time I hear this
He's
guy's.
just such a guy.
I mean, so
Just a guy.
you also
Check
have a
him
lot
out
of
on
love for
Instagram.
TDE people. I would say your love for SZA is there definitely.
SZA
And
does
so
make some bangers.
I just think Isaiah Rashad has one of the smoothest voices, and he does something with the sound that is literally, I know it's him always.
Yeah.
I know it's him
Super unique.
because he's just got these intonations, he's got the flows that are just different in ways.
Everything's very intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also I look up to him greatly because he does something very good that I still am working on, which is he makes his music and his references so personal to him that it doesn't even matter. Like, he's talking about his corner store and his uncle, naming them by name, and, like, these things, but you feel like you know
Like,
where
it'll
it's at.
apply to everybody, but, like, it's really
you
his
know,
story.
you're like, oh, like, okay, the corner store, and, like, yeah.
You put yourself in his shoes.
Yeah, and you're just like, you know, I never skip an Isaiah Rashad song, basically. Like,
You could tell that he's rapping for himself in that
yeah.
song, which is tight. Because I think that
That's
a lot this, like, even really talented rappers that are, like, have so much of a following and, like, make such great music, and then I listen to, like, you can still tell that a lot of what they're putting out is, you know, they're putting it out for like, listens, for views, for, like,
You just
it's not
rapping
all
just because.
yeah.
That's what he
But
says. That's what he says. You
Isaiah's
just rapping just
very-
because.
But yeah, The Sun's Tirade was one of my favorite albums of 2016, for sure.
Yeah,
I think
that
The
was
Sun's
beautiful.
Tirade was a beautiful album.
Yeah, I seriously just couldn't find much that I didn't like about it.
Yeah, like, from start to beginning. And he has all those interesting, like, preludes and, like,
Yeah,
monologues that he kind
that's
of
actually an
samples
interesting
that sound
topic
really cool.
that we might want to talk about.
Yeah. Talk about
Go
it.
for it.
Because-
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's something that I wonder about. It's like, because me personally in albums, I do enjoy getting that context, and I do enjoy skits and things like that. But I mean, obviously, it's about the music for me.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm not adding a skit to a playlist, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not re-listening to that.
Yeah.
Like an intro,
And
like a welcome track.
Yeah, and so, and actually, it's funny because the intro to Huncho Jack Huncho Modern Slavery I added to my playlist.
Okay.
Even though it has a really long intro part, because I mean that was just great. That was great. But I was thinking about myself, especially with this project I'm trying to put out before I graduate. If I was going to do things like that, like if I was going to include any kind of intros or just talking portions, or if it was literally just going to be songs.
Yeah.
Because I want, you know, especially at this point, I need to grow a fan base, and I need people to get to know Brett Riley on and off the track,
Yeah.
essentially. And so, because I'm so bad at, like, all intros, like when people do, like, their intros before the verse and stuff like that, I get so awkward. I say such a horrible things, such awkward stuff. Even on my mixtape, I re-listen to some of that
what's
stuff.
up?
I re-listened to some of the things I was saying, and I was just like, oh my god,
Just,
I
like,
can't
just stop
believe it.
talking.
It's Brett Riley on the track.
Yeah, there's one that I definitely just unplanned at the beginning of the song. I literally just go, yeah, and I was like, oh my god.
You're like, sick.
Yeah, I know, and they kept it, and like I was just like, alright.
Well,
At least you're not knowing Skilla.
I think, like, the important thing about things like that, like sampling, like, monologues, even if they're not you, like, just sampling things from movies, things like that, like, preludes, I think that when in, like, thinking about using those, I think, to me at least, there has to be a purpose to them.
Totally.
Because on the random songs, like, a lot on, like, Cozy Tapes 1, which I think was an incredible album.
Awesome album.
Just unbelievable. I could go on and on about it, but I won't. However, I think that there are parts on that album where they did too much with the monologues.
Oh yeah.
Where I understood that they were trying to, like, really, like, put you in, like, we were trying to hit that, like, 90s, like, rap crew, like, New York shit, like, and that's, sorry, New York.
We can say fuck shit, whatever, it doesn't matter. We'll edit it later.
We'll edit it later. But, and I understood what they were trying to do there, but I think that at times, like, I was like, okay, like, we get the point, and now this is just, like, excess.
Yeah. The message is.
Yeah, like, Lamborghini High, when they released that on Cozy Tapes after they had released it as a single, they added, like, what, like a 2-minute, like.
Yeah.
Like.
That's not the song
You know,
wanna
yeah, like
hear,
recording
like-
in the beginning, so I think
It's
that.
hard to have replay value with those things.
But there
Great
are.
music video.
Yes.
Oh, amazing
Oh my
music
God.
video. Yeah, the editing of that is very good.
That was
But that
insane.
reminds me actually, because I did do something like that with changes. I put this voicemail I had of my father
Oh, I heard that, yeah.
Okay.
from about.
Very Drake, circa Take Care.
Oh
I
yeah.
appreciate it.
I was thinking
Look
of
what you've done.
I was thinking of Logic, honestly, when he has that one. It might be Under Pressure, where it's like it's a really long song.
Him and his mom, right?
It's all of his family members. He has like 3 different voicemails, I think, and I could be wrong. So anyone watching this, if I named the song wrong, oh man, I'm so sorry because I consider myself a Logic fan. But
Let us know.
I think
Or don't.
it has like he has like his brother call him, his mom, or maybe not his mom, like his sister, and then his dad, and like, and he talks about his dad in the song and stuff too. And I was just like. You know, that's how you really get some context to who a person is. It's like hear the person that raised them talk to them. You know,
Yeah.
like how they speak to them is going to be how they were raised for the first 18 years of their life. If those people were part of their lives. And so I had made that song. I had changes recorded. And it was just that first verse with the little into the second verse. And I was like,
There could be
it's not
something.
bad,
Yeah.
but it's not a song.
Yeah.
There's something that needs to tie it together thematically, and just make it really put it together. And so originally I put the voicemail in between the verses because the first like 4 bars of the second verse is when I actually reference my father and his daughter specifically. Didn't work as well. And then it worked perfectly in the beginning. Like it was literally the exact duration right before the beat drops where like my dad says bye bye Brett and then it goes into it and I was just like, oh
Like, this works too well.
I was like, is this even real life? Because I remember having the revelation about it. It was the weirdest time. And this is how I know that I'm supposed to do something with this music, I feel like, is because I was sitting there on my couch after a long day of messing with music and trying to figure out what was going to bring changes together more. And somebody called me and I missed it and they left me a voicemail. And so I checked my voicemail and then, you know, it always does that, like, oh, now you have 0 new messages. You have 2 saved messages.
Yeah,
and I was like,
what are
I
those?
was like, I don't remember why I would have these messages. So I listened to them and I listened to that and I just teared up. And I was like, wow, that's beautiful. I was like, amazing.
Incredible.
I immediately just all these things like started going off in my head and I was like, how do I send this to myself? Like, or am I just gonna hold my phone to my microphone and
I sample this?
hope that it's not trash? But there's a way you can send voicemail files to yourself, so I did that and it came through really crisply. And I was blown away by the fact that it worked and I was just so excited.
Now it's the intro to Changes, so listen to it.
Yeah, if you haven't listened to that song, check out Changes because I really think that song is definitely like my best song. I enjoyed it.
Dang.
I listened to it, is what I will say. I Kanye myself to it because I like it.
That's sick.
You listen to your own music as entertainment, you know?
Well, so, yeah, and
Are
I
you
think
your favorite artist?
not at all. Because I know I'm not great yet. But that's the thing, it's like...
But yeah.
I like the yet, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, is a
That's
lot
sick.
of... I like when people talk to me about my music, but there's always a lot of apprehensiveness when people talk to me about my music because I feel like they feel like I think I'm supposed to be something so much bigger or something, but I understand where I am. I'm very early on the road, even though I've been rapping for 2 years now. I've only done like 4 live shows, 5 live shows, and they've been small venues. And
I mean, yeah, you're not like selling out
and
the arena, so.
I know I'm not rapping at the level of Kendrick Lamar
Yeah.
or even Isaiah Rashad or any of my favorite rappers, anyone in the game, right?
Yeah.
But I'm working towards that,
Yeah.
and every day I'm putting in those concrete steps to get there because I want it.
Yeah.
Like I want to be able to express myself in the way that they can. These complex ideas that get out what's in here even better.
Yeah.
Like explaining myself even better where people can fully feel that. You know?
So how long have you been rapping now?
It's been I don't know exactly, but it's been 2 years,
About 2 years?
give or take 1 2 months on either side.
What would you say has been like the toughest part of trying to make it as a music artist?
It's a lot of pressure on myself that I put, I think, because I know that or I feel that I have this potential to be greater, to be better.
Yeah.
So anytime I'm not is a failure. Like and
You
it's
hear a
so
track back again and you don't like it, then it's like, oh fuck.
and especially in times where I'm not even working on music. That's the most time. It's
Yeah.
like when I need to give myself time to relax. Everyone needs off time, and especially as students, and especially as I work and I'm going to school and I'm trying to do this.
Yeah.
Like I need to have my time to just sit there and do nothing, and I need to be able to enjoy that.
Yeah.
You might be
Because
okay with that,
yeah, because a lot of the time I would sit there and I'd be like, I could be doing this. I could be getting better every second of my life.
Yeah.
But it's like, I can still do that on a daily
Yeah.
basis and also make time to relax. And it's all about finding the balance.
Yeah, I think.
And so what were you gonna say?
No, I just think that like as an artist, especially like an independent artist, is doing things themselves. DIY artist, it's really really hard when you don't have anybody necessarily. You don't have a team that's like holding you accountable or you know that's
It's me.
working with you. It's just you, so it's kind of hard to decipher like when you're artist Brett and when you're just Brett.
Yeah.
You know, like
Not
where
Brett,
when
yeah.
you know
That's a very
when is
important
the
distinction.
difference. So I think that's something that I've.
Yeah, because your hours are flexible, you
Yeah,
work whenever you want,
exactly.
really, like, you're your own boss, and,
It's whenever you
But it's hard.
feel like
Yeah.
you can create something.
yeah.
But what I've found is, even when I feel like I can't create something, I can, and
Yeah.
and if I feel like that is the right move, I should sit down and just sit through the thick of it. Like when I don't want to make a beat because like I'm tired or something, like I still will sit down with it and start something because then when I find something that I like, then I get into it. Then that
Yeah.
motivation comes. Then the passion is re-inspired. Even if I was like, whoa.
And if you don't find that, then I feel like, do you make that call for yourself where you're just like, okay, like, you know?
Yeah, that's
I feel like another important thing is just like not forcing yourself to try and
100%.
create,
100%.
you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
So
hard to not
just
force yourself because then you
mediocre,
feel
yeah.
like you're not doing anything, and
That's the thing. So it's all about the
Yeah.
balance. It's all about the balance. And yeah, I would say anytime I work on music, the range I always give myself is at least 30 minutes. But it, like I said, it can go up to 7, 8, 9 hours
Yeah.
if I get really into a session.
yeah.
And so it's like, I will make myself sit down for at least 30 minutes. But if I, by the end of that 30 minutes, don't feel like it's fruitful,
Yeah, no,
I'll walk away, and I won't feel bad about it necessarily
Exactly.
because I tried to do it. I really tried. That was my effort for today. That was what I brought to the table, and like it's not always gonna be the heaters. It's not always gonna be the best thing, and wait for the day that it is. But I don't think that even the best rappers of all time, sit down every time and write the best verse or
Yeah.
No,
make the
no
best
way.
beat or whatever. And so yeah, I would say the hardest thing about rapping, or just being a rapper over the last 2 years, was just dealing with my own self.
Yeah.
Dealing with my own self, because that's the whole thing. You don't want to lose yourself in it, in a bad way of like no longer talking what's true to you. Because that's the
Getting too
big
into
thing.
the title of like, oh,
Which,
I'm a rapper.
yeah, which
like,
happens a lot. Which
yeah.
happens a
Yeah, I
lot,
mean,
especially nowadays.
I don't even like to tell people that I'm a rapper, because I know that as soon as I say that word even,
It's just
there's
the
a
whole-
predisposition.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a predisposition towards that. And and I obviously don't think I fit that.
Yeah.
You know.
And you've said that you've told me before that people are surprised when you tell them that you're a rapper.
Oh, 100%.
That's different than this predisposition, but why? Why would you say that they're surprised?
Especially people that knew me all of my life or parts of my life, anytime before college, really.
Yeah.
They were surprised and are surprised because I was just kind of a goofy, tiny. I was like 5 foot for most of my life until college.
Watch it.
But I'm just saying, I was this,
I'm 5 feet tall.
I was
Brett.
this tiny, high-pitched voice kid and cracking jokes and, just kind of nerdy and goofy. And I didn't really,
Pause.
Keep going.
I didn't really have the demeanor of what people expected of a rapper, I guess, I didn't.
Scrawny little white boy.
Yeah.
That
And
is
so,
what it is.
but then for newer folks, when I when I told,
Wait, can you time out 1
oh,
second?
okay.
Okay.
Like for newer
Wow.
folks,
I had to imagine
The
that.
acoustics in here.
for the newer people like my
Fancy.
coworkers at Grounds here at Seattle University, when I told them I was a rapper after having worked with them over summer and stuff and just being a goofball and being a dirty mess because we just are we just do whatever, they were like, what, who's this glasses wearing white kid, little weird awkward man, nervous kid that makes rap music. But I showed my boss my mixtape and it was the funniest experience of my life because she's a hard ass. She's literally, she's female Red Foreman.
Yeah, you don't fuck around with that.
And yeah, so now I can because I would say we have a friendly relationship because we work together more. But at first, it was very serious.
Oh, yeah.
And so I pulled it up on SoundCloud.
How did
my
you end up
mixtape.
coming to this point, though?
We were I remember we were outside admin. We were planting a tree over the summer.
Lovely.
And we always we are listeners of things, lots of Grounds people listen to podcasts and stuff while they work because we majority work alone and except when we're doing bigger projects.
Right.
So she had her headphones in and the conversation came up because I think one of my coworkers knew I was a rapper or something, and then she was like, oh well, I want to hear it. And then so she put.
You're like, okay.
And, that's a terrifying moment,
Yeah.
right? And so she pulls it up right in front of my face and starts listening to it, and there's no visible reaction. There's we're still working, we're still working, and she's still just kind of walking around the tree.
And so
doing
you're
the
just
things.
kind of
And I was just waiting for her to already be like, hey, wow, because usually
throw me a bone.
Usually within the first 10 seconds, someone's like, this is you, this is actually your voice, and didn't say anything. Ended up going back to the tool shed or something across campus to get tools and came back, and in that time, the mixtape's only 25 minutes, I think. In that time, I think she had listened to all of it, and she came back and she was like, I liked it. She's like, I listened to all of it, and she was like, I liked it, that was cool. And I was like,
You're like, what?
I was like, oh my god.
That's sick. That's when it's real too. She wasn't bullshitting you either.
Yeah, because I was the thing is I was like.
Because
so
she didn't even try to give you that fake 10 seconds in
and then change to something else, go back to what she was listening to. She literally.
I like this. Let me put my Kendrick back on.
Yeah.
She put the time in to actually listen to every song that I had made, basically, in that time. All the other songs that weren't on the mixtape I deemed not worthy. So, but yeah, I was like, that I get all these signs all the time, basically, that I should keep going. And I had a really
signs of support and everything.
Yeah, I had a really impactful one when I got to go back to California recently for the Christmas break.
Shout out Cali.
Yeah, San Jose, California. That's where I'm from. Hello.
Shout out to the East Coast.
Also shouts out Baltimore. That's where I was born. Rep hard. So shouts out East Coast. Yeah.
I'm a Yankees girl myself, but.
No, okay.
We don't have
Anyway.
to worry about the O's ever.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about these trash birds over here. Oh well.
Oh well, this sweatshirt looks sick.
Dude, it's so comfy.
The Giants are the true orange and black team, though.
Oh, true. I'll
Classic
always rep the Bay a little bit, you know, because especially the Warriors, we don't have a basketball team on the East Coast really that I can support. But anyways, what I was saying to
Boys.
Sorry.
what I was saying to you is, I got to go home to California, and before I had even gotten on my flight back, this was all preceding my show at Nectar Lounge, so tickets were up for sale. One of my good friends from high school, best friend I would say, sent me a picture, and it was just him holding the ticket. And he had bought a ticket, knowing that he couldn't make it to the show, obviously, because he lives in California. But he had bought a ticket, and he sent me the picture, and I was just like, you know, that's love right there. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then so obviously I was like, we gotta reconnect. I haven't seen you in like 2 years now, because I rarely get to go back to California, and when I do, it's like only family time, or like, and everyone else is also busy. Everyone's got their lives.
Yeah.
But we got to link up on the last day I was in California. And I hadn't been to In-N-Out, so we went to In-N-Out, and we shared a great conversation just about our lives and stuff, and he talked to me a lot about my music, and he made me realize that a lot of people listen to my music and don't say anything to me, like never say anything to me, because he told me that he actually pulls up SoundCloud and like revisits my music, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know you really had listened to my music,
But you have like a good amount of plays on your songs on SoundCloud.
I have a fair amount on most, I would say. Nothing staggering. Like I know Jackson Karlenzig, another rapper. He gets much more views, I would say.
Oh, really?
He seems to be much more popular.
I didn't know
Maybe
that.
a collab.
So yeah, he's pretty talented dude. I honestly was thinking of maybe asking him for a feature on the project I was
He's really sweet.
doing. But
That'd be sick.
just because he's a really nice guy. I like his bars. I like his vibe. You know, he has a similar vibe. But the biggest thing about this interaction I had with my friend Justin back home was he dropped me back off at home right before my flight back here, and he pulled me aside basically right before I walked away from him, and he was like, keep going, for me and for your mom. And I almost like teared up, and like as I was walking away, and I was like, you know, that's it. Like I was like, that's it. Like the fact that people keep telling me to keep going, you know.
Yeah.
You can tell that people believe in you,
Yeah.
Especially someone who knew you like during your childhood and
Yeah.
like kind of like has known you for so long.
Yeah, seen me
Like,
through the most awkward stages of my life, and he sees what I've become, you know, and what I've been able to do because I put the work in at something I loved.
Well, and you've been super ambitious too. I remember like sophomore year, maybe even freshman year, like I would scroll on Facebook and see these iPhone videos of Brett Riley rapping to some beat, like, yo, check out this
What's
side
up?
out. My name's Brett Riley.
Man, from cell phone
Peace,
raps.
love, positivity.
So from the cell phone raps in my little den in California to
To
Nectar Lounge in Seattle. To
5 shows now.
Right here in Diego's.
Yeah, right
living
here
room.
getting interviewed. It's all an honor, you know. It's literally, but it proves to me, if anything, that anyone can do anything. Because I wasn't good. I wasn't good. You know? And that's fine. You literally have to learn how to rap it. Like, and
I mean, it goes to show that if you love what you do, then you'll get better at it.
Yeah,
and
and
can be
it
really
just
good
so
at it.
happened that I strangely decided to publicize all of this from the
from the beginning.
very first rap.
Like didn't even wait to become like maybe like kind of okay. You're like I'm horrible. Here I am.
It's like, yo,
Because it was
check out my
That's
first
tight.
haiku
It was,
ever.
I just was so hyped on the fact that I had created something, I guess, that I wanted to put it out.
That's tight.
But yeah, obviously looking back on it, I've come so far from those cell phone raps. Like I wasn't even hitting flows, man.
Didn't even scratch the surface.
And the 1 syllable rhymes, I'm over. I get tired of the 1 syllable rhymes.
I'm asleep on that now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean,
That's
if
just me
anything,
personally, like,
it
That
shows that.
AAB rhyme scheme is just too easy.
This AAB rhyme scheme. I think that if anything, too, like you said, it could prove that anybody can do anything, and I think that's true. But like even more basic than that, it shows that you have at least like made some concrete, improvement. Because I think that when it's just yourself working on things, like in 2 years, it's like, if you don't have that to compare to, it's like you don't really know how different you are or things like that,
That's why I'm most excited about
it's cool to be able to like be like, oh shit, like.
Because if anyone takes the time and scrolls all the way down to 2 years ago, the first thing I ever put out, what was it even called? It was called like, oh shoot.
I think I saw this. I think I watched this video. The
It
first
wasn't
rap you ever posted.
Yeah, it was.
Pretty sure I watched that.
Was this when we lived in Bellarmine sophomore year?
This was a.
I always used to run into Brett in the lobby.
That's true. We used to have a good time.
Yeah.
I fucking used to.
Go Red Hawks!
I started recording
What was it
in
called?
the summer. I can't remember what it was called because I remember
my first rap.
It was like, it wasn't a little different. That was something else. That was another one. I can't remember. I could literally pull it up. My phone's over there.
Whatever.
But yeah, basically, if anyone was to take the time to listen to that first thing and then listen to changes, I think their mind
Even just
would be
first
blown.
minute of changes,
And
you get
that's,
like, okay.
And that's what it's about for me. It's like the fact that I have gotten better, like because it's my own journey. It's not me in constant comparison to other rappers. It can be, and I do that sometimes when I shouldn't. But it's me against me.
Yeah.
It's not me against anybody else. It's always been me against me. I have to wake up every day and compete against myself and get better. And as long as I'm doing that, I'm winning in my mind. Like, as long as I'm getting better at rapping and doing what I love and making beats and doing it with friends especially, like bringing in more people to it and inspiring passion in them.
Yeah.
Because, I have a few friends that like, when we hang out, we would just chill and we would just watch TV. We wouldn't really do much.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to get together and be like, hey, let's make some music. Even if it's not like, let's make a song or something, let's just mess with sounds. Let's literally just like, let's just groove and be weird. Like, let's just be weirdos. That's very personal. Like, that I've grown closer with my friends in the last month because of that.
And that's very genuine too.
Yeah, it's very genuine because it's extremely vulnerable. You just have to put yourself in those positions to really grow. I feel like.
That's a cool thing that like my family has. Like lots of people in my family play guitar. So like me, my dad, I have a couple of uncles that play. So whenever we have these big family get-togethers, we'll have like dinner, and then after dinner, everyone brings out the guitars, the musical instruments, and, the percussion instruments, everything. Like we all jam along.
Yeah.
My dad has like this binder full of music, like old school, like Neil Young songs.
Oh
and,
shit!
like,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's tight.
A bunch of fun stuff, and everyone sings along. It's just a blast. And it's the really good way to like connect with people and have that kind of
it's
awesome
almost indescribable.
experience.
It's just it's like you feel that feeling. You feel that feeling with someone when you look at them in that place. You know? Like I interacted with Max differently once we had made that song together because, especially once we had made that song together, because he heard me like deliver that verse a lot of different ways because I was like, how do I want to have this come across? Because I don't want to be yelling.
That's the first time that you made music with him?
Yeah, that was the first time we had actually sat down and really made music. That was actually the first beat he ever made.
No way.
That was the first full beat he ever made. But this kid...
And it sounds sick.
This kid is incredibly musically talented. Like,
he plays piano, right?
So he's classically trained on the piano. He went to actual like music school.
So he understands music theory at its core.
God.
And if you know that, that's the thing, is like, if you know music theory really well, you can learn anything.
You can do any genre.
His ability to craft.
Whereas like me teaching myself guitar from like YouTube tutorials helps me no way with any other instrument. It doesn't really help me with guitar, honestly. If you want to help me out, that'd be great.
That's right.
But it's like, but I have friends who like just can learn any instrument because they just know music theory. Yeah. Like, when they can identify, like, note that's played on a guitar and be like, oh, this is the same note on piano. And, like, be like,
I hear that, and people are like, oh, yeah, this is C major. And I'm like, I don't know
Well,
any of that stuff.
I have an uncle who plays like in this wedding band, I guess, like they do events and stuff, and he plays keyboards.
Wedding band.
And he performed for my parents' anniversary party.
If anyone's getting married anytime soon, please hit
Yeah,
up, take
hit
us
me up.
on
I got
call.
the hookup for the wedding band. But no, so like they play like a huge list of songs. And there was this one song that a different uncle of mine wanted them to play. It was by Dave Matthews Band, and they didn't know the song.
Classic wedding song.
But the band didn't know the song, and they were like, "Oh, we're going on break in like a couple minutes. Like, can you just pull it up on YouTube? We'll listen to it real quick." So he goes, pulls it up on YouTube, shows it to my uncle that plays keys. He listens to it once, and he's like,
Yeah,
"All
for
right,
sure.
we got it."
Got him.
It
Locked
then
in,
they
locked
played
in.
it, and they just killed it. Like,
Yeah.
and that's what you get from just knowing music theory, having the ear for it, and just
Yeah.
like doing it constantly.
Mm-hmm. It's practice. It's really practice. I mean, that's evident in my come up. If it can be called my progression.
Progression. It's still a come up.
Yeah.
Your
And I think that's
journey
cool
to
too.
fame.
Is like the fact that you have this like kind of documentation from like where you were 2
From
years
the very
ago
beginning.
Yeah.
and where you are now, and like that you actually did improve proves that like you can improve like even more,
Yeah.
Totally.
which is really sick because
That gives me the
it
drive.
doesn't feel like it's for nothing.
You know that guy on YouTube that does like before they were famous?
Yeah.
You're helping him out a lot, publishing everything.
Man, I think about that stuff so much. It's funny, man. I think about
Before they were famous, Brett
what
Riley.
my Nardwar interview would be like. Shoot, man.
Dude, I've
Zane
been
Lowe?
binging on so much.
What's
Nardwuar.
he gonna know? Like
Zane Lowe.
I'm
What is it, BBC?
I'm waiting
It
for
is
just those times, man, where I I can see it. That's the
Did you
thing.
see Logic's interview with Nardwuar?
Mm-hmm. That's so funny.
He was like,
I'm
yo,
not
I
a
can't
huge
wait.
Hardware fan.
No.
I think he's weird. He's definitely a weird
He's so
guy,
weird.
but
Yeah.
he's one of the most talented interviewers
Yeah.
because he just knows
Super smart.
everything
Yeah.
about these people.
Yeah.
So like, and I also just do it because I like to learn these really obscure things about these people.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he just knows the crazy.
And he just goes back to like their childhood.
They
like,
are
That's so weird.
at least once in every Nardwar interview have been they go, how you know that?
Yeah. They're like, how the hell did you find
Where
this
did you
out?
get that? Who told you that?
Like,
what is that?
you're a nerd, like-
what is happening? And
So,
he's always like,
okay,
"You're
well, with that
this."
being said,
Yeah.
what would it be? What do you think he'd find on you? Will you share?
You know, I think he would bring up a lot of my very early childhood, if
Like
it was possible.
Maybe a Nickelback album.
Oh my god! I mean, he would probably talk about.
Nickelback album.
Classic
Yo, Brett.
guy.
He would probably talk about what like my dad's influence on my listening to music when he was in control. You know, because he literally listened to Nickelback and things like that. Oh my god!
Creed, right?
Sick.
Yeah.
Creed and Nickelback, best bands.
But I think he would. You know, I think about my childhood a lot because
Did your dad listen to Black Sabbath?
yeah, totally.
Sick.
But because
bro.
Tight.
like I also don't think a lot of people
Black Sabbath's the best band.
know that I grew up, you know, sort of in the culture. You know, I went to K through 8 school where I was like one of a few white kids. You know, like not many.
Yeah.
And
Was K through 8 in Baltimore?
Baltimore.
this was in
Or
California. I was only like 1 year old when I went. I was like very
Oh,
young
okay.
when I moved to California. I didn't spend much time in Baltimore, but yeah, basically for 9 years straight, it was like me and maybe like 9 other white people, and so like it wasn't like I was just, you know, Nickelback and Creed and like yeah, and so yeah, I was around a lot of this stuff, and I mean that school was not the best. There was gang violence and there was like fights constantly. Luckily, I was able to stay on the side of all that, but
Yeah.
that's, I feel like, because I was this little short nerdy white kid.
Yeah.
You know, like everyone looked at me and was like, he's not gonna hurt
Yeah,
us.
who's even gonna fuck up the
Not gonna do anything.
I would often get protected by my own friends that were involved in the activities like that, but yeah, it's interesting. I think he would. I think Nardwar would bring up a lot of things that I myself have forgotten about my past. You know, and that's the kind of things that, you know, are the how you know that, because like
Yeah.
I don't even remember that.
You're
But
like,
there's a lot of things in my past that
Yeah.
influence me that I don't remember or that don't play in my conscious mind all the time.
Yeah.
So like I'm sure there would be things that he would just blow my mind with.
Yeah.
Tight. Well, Nardwar, if you're watching, get Brett Riley.
I bet he's famous. Yeah, when I drop some new, like a bunch of albums and stuff, and I have more, it'll be good.
It'll be.
I promise. I'm gonna make it good. I'm not gonna make bad stuff.
This is tasteful. Look at him, hydrating.
So I'll
Glowing.
try something with you. Are you down to freestyle?
I'm pretty down. I'm like kind of tired, but I'll do it. I'll try my best.
Try some shit here. Yeah, fuck it, why not?
Great boys. Just gonna.
I feel like I should just sing to this. Coming in on a Sunday morning, doing this and we'll never be boring. No, I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna sing a country song over this.
Sing a country song? Fleetwood Mac?
Can't freestyle acoustic guitar.
San Diego or
I've never freestyled the acoustic guitar
That was
before.
hot. Is you ain't my baby. You know that one?
No? What is it?
Is you ain't my baby?
Who is it by?
Joe Jackson, but it's been like done by plenty of people.
Probably. I recognize the, like...
Or
What is that?
Check out Diego Hyndman on YouTube.
Yeah, Diego,
Like,
Diego's
subscribe,
more
thumbs up.
freestyle-y, musically talented apparently.
And check out me for doing
I
nothing.
know this song. I know you know this song.
I know this song. What is this song?
Oh, fucking Hey Ya by Outkast?
And I'm gonna do the Andre 3000 flows. I love that guy.
Andre. That's a guy.
Alright.
I think you got it. Nothing at all. That's me.
Outkast is such a big part of my
Miss
life.
Jackson.
Sorry to get
No,
distracted,
Yeah.
but
Miss Jackson.
Okay.
Track.
now that you make me think of Andre 3000, that is someone
But
I look up to.
you just brought out some stuff. This
There
is
we go.
Good job.
Yeah, no, that's another person that does something with the music that is absolutely astounding. Is Andre 3000.
Mhm.
'Cause,
He's
like,
wild.
He's amazing.
And he's another one like Isaiah where it's like, even more so than Isaiah, like off grid, low key, like it's Andre and Andre, that's it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know what Andre 3000 looks like, I don't think. Like, his head does not pop into, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's really just him. And he comes out on, like, Blonde, like, Frank Ocean's album, of course. Like,
That
both of those
what was
fuckers
it, the
always just,
solo
like,
reprise?
MIA. They're like, we're gone.
Yeah.
Give us, like, 5 years. And
Like
then it's
pulls
like,
some Dave Chappelle's on us.
yeah, dude. But it's like, they come in and it's like, his solo, like,
That thing solo reprise. or
yeah,
whatever.
solo,
Oh,
like
yeah.
the reprise of Solo, where Andre just like, it's literally, it sounds like Andre in a beat in like an empty bathroom or something. Like, that's the vibe I get, where it's just like, just his voice, like,
But
is just there. And his
amazing
verse
bars.
is just flawless.
So
like,
low that I can see
pink
under
batter.
the skirt of
Yeah.
an ant.
Yeah, yeah.
What?
So that I can see another good just like so tight. And it's like, what, a minute and a half? And then it just ends, but you're just like, you feel
You're
like you got the
left there.
wind knocked out of you. Like,
Yeah.
you're like, Jesus,
And
dude.
that's the kind of music I aim to make.
Yeah.
I literally aim to make music that
so simple,
you know, it
but it's
hits you.
Yeah.
it either emotionally or, you know, as a banger, you know? Like
Yeah.
I do want to make fun songs and I do want to make those like
And you can do both.
I think this album that I'm working on to transition more towards that is gonna be more that like fun side because I want to have I think that'll be cool because that'll be literally I can just go up and do that whole thing for shows now
Yeah, and then,
instead
yeah,
of like
go to the show,
mixing
yeah,
slower
it's-
songs in with other songs and stuff like that because I want to make because you know shows are gonna be such a big part of growing a fan base for me.
Mhm.
And so if in person I can hype people up and connect with them there, that's more than likely that they will revisit my things than if like they were just to find
Yeah.
my stuff and
Right.
don't know who I am or whatever.
Right. Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like
no,
trying
for
to
sure.
just get discovered on the internet is kind of
everybody's a SoundCloud rapper, man, and so that's why it was
Everybody's
nice
trying to make it.
to get that song on Spotify because, bro, when I send someone a Spotify link, they open that.
Way cooler than
They
SoundCloud.
open
Yeah, you have a little album like cover thing where it opens up and grab a
I
message.
commissioned Max Keat, Seattle University student, graphic designer, to get that
Shout
album
out, Max.
cover. Yeah, great job, man. It's beautiful. I think that got a lot of people to click it off the rip as well because it's just
That is a really
nice.
cool album cover.
Yeah, that's my little sister. It's this picture I had as well, just from like a year ago or something that I think my stepmom took, and I was like, mess with this, like do some weird things, and you did a really cool job. But yeah, when you send someone a Spotify link, there's a lot of predispositions toward that because a lot of people don't understand the music industry, and so they don't know how I got on Spotify, and so they think that I'm like suddenly signed or things like that, and so that garners a lot more respect essentially when you send them those real links. They're like, oh, this is the app I use to listen to Drake or Lamar, or then I'm finding you on here. Wow,
It's big timing.
and so that's. That's what I aim to do with this new project is like I'll be on the apps that, I use when I want to listen to music. Like I don't go to SoundCloud myself when I want to listen to music.
Yeah.
Like as like the music that I have saved is all on Spotify and everything like. So if I'm trying to be like these people, you gotta make the moves like these people essentially. And so to any aspiring artists out there, if you're wondering how I got on Spotify, get a TuneCore, TuneCore, get a TuneCore, amazing. That's all I'll say about the subject. I don't have to go in depth about it, but look it up. It's very good. No, it's amazing because you'll get a lot more respect being on Spotify and things.
Get your ass on
That's what it's
Spotify.
about too. It's just like getting the respect in the game, and that's kind of what builds you up too. Because then you can connect with other bigger artists, and they can kind of help you.
Totally, man. Because that's what it is. Like after my show that you were at least 2 or 3 of the other performers were like, "Hey, let's link up, man."
Hey, my guy.
Hey, bro, we have a SoundCloud. Here's mine. And me as a person, I don't think I'm gonna follow through with a lot of those. My apologies to. But I like to keep it small.
Hot take.
Yeah.
I like to, like I said, I like to work predominantly by myself, but I do enjoy working with other people. But it's gotta be the right people. It's literally gotta be the right people, because if you're not trying to work, I'm not about it. Like if you're not actually.
It's about his grind, baby.
If you're really not actually trying to do the thing. Then why did you say we were trying to do the thing? Like we gotta just go. Like there's enough time in these days that we can do something every day. And that's why I try to sit down at least 30 minutes and like work on a beat or write something. Just get it. That's progress. That's literally progress in my mind. And it might not be huge, but in 2 years I was able to make a noticeable improvement. I don't know how noticeable, but it was a noticeable improvement. And because of that, because of changes, I've gained more noticeable support from people in my life than any other song. Like that was the one that really did it, I think. Like finally convinced people that like this is the way that I should be expressing myself. Like that I'm not just rapping because essentially that like when I put my thoughts into a flow and execute it, it's the best feeling in the world. And it's the most like amazing thing I can do that I've found in my life. Like because I don't have many talents and not
Do you
very
think that
good
it
at a lot of
gave you
things.
like a new sense of confidence, like releasing that song and having it have such a like feeling proud of it, but also having other people validate that too? Because it's one thing to be like very proud of your work and be like, this is sick, like because everything you put into it, but like it's also like such a whole nother thing for like other people to validate that too and be like, this is really good, like and to see like, oh, this has gotten like the most views out of things, or this has gotten the most like attention from my family, like from the people that I care about, like that I want to like see this music and appreciate this. Like, do you think that gave you some sense of like, oh, like maybe I am sick, like let me keep going, like confidence in that way?
Absolutely, I think like
it's like shit, I'm actually getting noticed.
That was
I think that's important.
I mean, it hit me when I was working on that song because I I put more time into that song than any song I've worked on. And
How long does it take you to write it?
Writing it, not that long.
Yeah.
The first verse came all in one sitting,
Uh-huh.
in probably under an hour. Once I had actually got that first line.
Yeah.
And figured out the tone I was going for. And then that second verse definitely went really fast as soon as I got like the intro and started speeding up. I was like, all the words that I wanted to say were coming to me, you know, like, this is how it feels, this is intense. But yeah, it was just like, dude, dang, I don't even remember what I was saying.
You were saying you knew while you were
I
making
knew,
the song.
because I worked on it for like over 100 hours in total, probably. Like mixing and mastering it was the most time, because
that's always,
you know, but there was a huge difference from times where I mixed it incorrectly to the times I mixed it perfectly, because when I was working on it and I got it to sound right, I literally cried to my own song.
Yeah.
Like, this one was really the one where I actually executed it the way I wanted to.
Yeah. So you already knew, but then you finally got that. But I feel like also like knowing and then getting that validation too is just like.
Well, yeah. So I knew it was good to me. That was the thing. When I cried to my own song, I knew it was good to me, and I texted Max, and I was like, "Yo,
this is."
I just sobbed. I was like,
"What's
"Yo, this is real. Like, we have done something here." I was like, "We have done something here. We need to." I was like, "We need to keep going." I was like, "We need to keep going." So, and unfortunately, it's so hard with everything that's going on in life, like with school and you know, trying to graduate and everything. I haven't been able to sit down with Max and make a lot since then. But we have a lot of other beats that he wants me to hop on, but I haven't yet. But yeah,
it's great.
I mean,
it's nice to like. I think there's always like that thing, at least for me, like when I make something and I think it's like so sick, like whatever it may be, there's always like that little voice in the back of your head where it's like, but is it? Like, are you just saying that because like this is really personal to you and this is something that's like
it had so much
that it's like you can't. For me, it's impossible for me to like when I made a zine, to look at like a poem I wrote about like, I don't know, my dad, and to be like, this sucks, like knowing that it took so much for me to write, you know, like was so personal. And I remember like when I published it, I was just like looking at my writings and stuff. So much of it was like stuff I like wrote into my iPhone notes at like 4 a.m, like, you know, like I'm going through it, like whatever.
That's the realest stuff.
Yeah, and I remember like in the back of my head, like when I was doing it, I was like, this honestly might be garbage. Like it might just be like a bunch of like, just like me complaining kind of, and like, you know, and it wasn't until people came to me and was like, Nicole, like your writings were like so like powerful, like that was like so whatever, that I was like, okay, like nice. But it's like sometimes like there have been times where like I've thought something was really sick, and then like I've looked over it a couple times and I'm like, let me think about if I read this from, you know, not me, and I'm like this.
And it's really hard to judge your own work objectively, you know, from that perspective of everyone.
Yeah.
Like, what is everyone? Also?
Exactly.
Like, and that ties back into something I said a long time ago, that, you know, your art, your creation, your whatever is not going to please everyone. Exactly. And that has to be the number one thing you understand before you move on.
Yeah, no matter what, some people are just not.
It is not for everyone. No matter what you are doing, literally anything in your life, it's not for everyone. And so it's not going to be some tie all together kind of thing, you know? You have to find your fans. You have to find your love and do it for you and them, and not for this other community that's outside of it. Like, because I know, like, it's funny because my dad is not a rap fan at all. Despises it most of the time because of the predisposition towards it, because, you know, like, of what is played on the radio is not like lyrical rap and things like that. But he's a sweet man, so he said he's my biggest fan, man. He said the only person he wants to hear rap is me.
Damn.
That's really wholesome.
Nice.
So it's cool to have I just have great support, you know.
Yeah,
I
once
have
you
a lot of
realize
people
that-
around me.
Yeah, and once you realize that like not everyone's gonna like it, then it makes it so much easier to kind of get through the tough parts.
That's
Yeah.
what makes me confident about it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I do walk around
Yeah.
after having made changes and go, nice. You know, I wrote like nice. Like
On the
literally
back, baby.
nice.
Yeah,
like
like,
I
nice-
have that ability.
nice job, gold star.
I have done that and no one can ever take that away from me.
Yeah.
But I have to also sit there and go, maybe 50% of the people that I show that song to might not enjoy it.
Mhm.
Like, might outright just be like, oh, the flow, I don't like the flow. Or like
Yeah.
the beat, I don't really like the beat, like that's not even a hip hop beat.
Yeah. And you're just like, okay, like.
And I just
Yeah.
have to be like, well, yeah, no, that's
For
you.
sure.
Like,
Like-
that's you. I'll be over
Yeah.
here like, what's up though?
What's up,
Like,
though?
you know, and I'm no longer.
But it's like that's not even really personal, I guess, if you really think about it. It feels personal, but if you think about it, just like somebody saying like, I just don't really like this beat, it's just like, okay, well,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, it's just
it
like,
goes back to taking the
yeah,
ego
it's
out of it.
just like,
'Cause
yeah.
it's not necessarily a conscious decision.
Exactly.
It's like what we were talking about when you hear a beat and you're not bouncing
You
to
can
it.
just
Yeah.
tell
It's like,
right away. Yeah,
I
if you
didn't
don't like it.
necessarily choose to be like, I'm not gonna like I'm
Yeah.
gonna sit
Like
here
nobody goes into a song
stagnantly.
and just be like, I'm not gonna let myself enjoy this. Like,
But like there, I will listen to something and I won't bob my head as hard as something else that I enjoy. But then it's like, that's just life. That's literally
Yeah.
just how it is. That's like the physiological humanness.
Wow.
Like, we are all different.
philosophy of the human person, you core what? 2100?
Shoot,
Brett
I
Riley
don't
took
know.
that class.
Probably years ago.
Well, Changes is out now. Go check it out on Spotify and
I'm not gonna-
SoundCloud.
Yeah. it's
Find Brett
everywhere.
Riley everywhere on all social media. Brett Tata on
True.
Instagram.
Brett, Brett Riley Music on Twitter. I have a Facebook fan page if you want to follow there.
Hit that
But
up.
yeah, follow me on Spotify, follow me on SoundCloud, and you'll get to hear even more coming soon that's gonna
Yeah.
be better.
Check out Changes and the new EP, hopefully coming out before graduation.
Yeah, I got 5 months.